Check, check.
Rickie, how are you?
Yeah, good. Nice to be done. Get a little relaxing time now.
Tell me this, you're a regular visitor to Northern Ireland over the years. What's it like out there, the atmosphere? Because everyone's excited to see all these world-class golfers.
It's fun. I mean, it's great. We're being able to come back after being here in 2019, and I think this place is a great test of golf. I've enjoyed my time here. Obviously, good finish back in 19, and off to a decent start this week. So, yeah, I know a lot of guys really just enjoy this golf course, enjoy the fans over here, enjoy the town of Portrush, as well as down the road, Port Stewart. I played over there on Friday, and especially when you get the weather we had over the weekend leading into the week, and so far we haven't had too much rain, so it's a good place.
And you had a lot of support out there this morning.
Yeah, no, we had a handful of people. I didn't expect a bunch to show up at a 7:08 tee time, but I was surprised there were a couple people with their little ones out, and having little ones myself, that's tough to make happen because you don't just wake up, roll out, and show up at 7. That's some serious commitment.
Thank you.
A little bit of an up and down round, Rickie. Did you some really good shots again to 13. Did you find it hard to get into a rhythm a little bit?
Yeah, I got out of position a couple times. I wasn't swinging as well today as I was yesterday, and kind of just had to fight my way around a little bit. I think we did a decent job of managing that, and not making any big numbers, but it's definitely tricky out there if you're a little bit off or get out of position a bit. But it's a good test.
What do you think is the biggest challenge in Portrush in terms of the thing that you're thinking about for the weekend?
I mean, it doesn't take much to get yourself in a interesting spot. I feel like a lot of the greens or a lot of holes typically give you kind of one side where you're okay, or at least have a chance, and then there's others where you have a slim chance, but you can turn a poorly executed shot into, you're hoping for bogey sometimes, but you can turn them into doubles and more if you try and maybe get too much out of it or get a little, as some of us try and get a little too cute. Yeah, it's good. You have to think your way around this place, even some of the shorter holes. Number 11, I made bogey the last 2 days, and it's basically like making par, I feel like there. Yeah, it's good. I enjoy it because it demands a lot out of you, hitting different shots, high, low, and left, right, especially when the wind's up.
Did you hit a lot of drivers today?
I hit a few. I want to say I probably hit maybe 4.
It seems like just with the way the course is laid out, some of the force carries you have, but then maybe the runouts, it can get a little tight. We've seen even guys on par 5s hit less than driver. I'm just wondering kind of the strategy that it's forcing guys off the tee.
Yeah, you can hit quite a few drivers if you want to. I typically don't hit many drivers in left or right wind. That's why I carry a mini. I draw it a lot easier. I'm able to hold it better. I didn't do a great job of that today, but at least they were somewhat in play. So I may hit less drivers than some, but like I said, there's plenty of options to do it. But really, no matter what club you hit, you have to hit it at least within reason, a quality golf shot.
You've spoken about your affinity for this style of play. You really didn't grow up playing it. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you take it?
I feel like I've always been creative and had a good imagination when it comes to hitting golf shots, and growing up on a flat driving range, kind of had to picture different things and hit different shots. And over here, you kind of, there's obstacles out there, but you have to at times be able to see the shot, and you have to execute it as well. But I find it a lot of fun. This place being a little bit different because it's a bit more in the air than a lot of links courses, but there's always a few different shots you can hit, and then you can make all of them work, but obviously it's sticking to the one that you pick and executing. But yeah, I find it fun because there's so many different variables, from how much the ball bounces, whether it's downwind and, using the wind or not. It's just, I think it's the variables part of it, as well as you throw the wind in there. And then I'm not a big fan of the rain, but that's a big variable when it comes into play.
Stylistically, how different is it from the type of shots that you're hitting week in and week out typically on the tour?
You can still hit some very, fairly stock shots to what we, hit back home. There's plenty of times where keeping it simple is probably your best bet, and not trying, like I said earlier, try and get too cute or pull off the hero shot. But I feel like being able to, flight the ball or hit it up downwind, and then being able to hold it both ways to be able to use the wind. You don't necessarily have to, but at the right times it can be a huge benefit.
Rickie, I have a short game technique question for you. Can you talk about are you doing anything differently off this kind of turf than a lot of the golf we see over in the States?
Not much. I mean, good delivery is still good delivery. It doesn't really matter if you're on firm, soft, grainy. If you can go chip off grainy Bermuda back home in Florida, everything's possible. This is, a bit tighter and firmer, but, still the initial contact, that's basically, for me, still the same. Because you're not really, should be making kind of ball and ground contact roughly about the same time, hopefully ball before ground, if slightly. So in that case, the surface shouldn't play as big of a factor with that. Certain shots, I mean, obviously, the fairway, it's not like it's tough to hit, flop shots or, when you have that much bounce and different things. So I would say a lot more square face, or not as open as maybe at home, just because of how much you expose the bounce and what that could lead to, because 10-yard shot could go 40 if you don't execute properly.
Rickie, you had success with your jailbird putter. Now you have a lab. What do you like about it? What did you change to?
I feel like it has a lot of the characteristics of the jailbird, just at shorter length and a lighter static weight. The jailbird's still a great putter. I've found over the years all putters work. It's whether you believe it or not. So I've been happy with the lab and had success with it. But yeah, at the end of the day, they all work. Right now, this is what I'm seeing the line with best, and feel like is my best chance of making putts. But sometimes things change. There's guys that use putters for forever, and sometimes putters start to look a little differently to you, or maybe be a little off to your eye. And a big thing at setup is you want something that looks right. So if this starts to look wrong, I'll look for the one that looks right.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks.